Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Power Glove Pixels. Today I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil. I'm going to be talking about the worst Resident Evil games and the best one in the series. Now, let me start by saying that I'm not going to count Resident Evil 7 because it's not out yet, but I got to say that it is looking really good. Definitely looks different than the previous Resident Evil games. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also not gonna count the games that are not really part of the main series, like Resident Evil Chronicles, Umbrella, and many other games in the franchise. I'm gonna go just from the main, I'll say the main games in the series, part of the story. Let's get this list going. So let's do it. So for my worst Resident Evil game is gonna have to be Resident Evil 6. I think this is the worst game in the series for many reasons. The story, for some reason, I could not get into the story. It was all over the place. I felt that they introduced way too many characters, and you couldn't really get into like the backstory of these characters. And I felt that it was way too much action, and not too much of a story of what Resident Evil is good. And the puzzles, I just felt that everything was kind of like a roller coaster. And for me, Resident Evil 6 it's gonna have to be the worst Resident Evil game. For some reason, when this game got announced, I wasn't really hyped for it. But I still played it. I still beat it. But for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. And for me, I really didn't enjoy it. I played it with a friend. For me, Resident Evil 6 is the worst. So my next game is gonna have to be, let's see, Resident Evil 3. I think this is another one that I felt, didn't really have a good story. I just felt that it was missing elements from the previous Resident Evil games. And for me, Resident Evil 3, yeah, definitely it's not that great. Like I said, I beat it. I always beat these Resident Evil games in the past. But yeah, this is another one that for some reason I just couldn't get into. Let's see, what else do we have? So the next game I have is, this is going to be kind of shocking. The next one is going to have to be Resident Evil 1. And I'm talking about the original Resident Evil 1 on the original PlayStation. I remember when this game came out, it was really difficult. I played it on the original PlayStation, and I remember having, wasting a lot of time in this game and not really knowing what to do. The intro, I remember, was very cheesy. The acting and everything. For some reason, Resident Evil 1, for me, it wasn't that great. Years later, Resident Evil, the remake came out, which came out on the GameCube. Now, this one wasn't bad. Graphically, it definitely looked better. I enjoyed it. But for me, it was not bad. It's not a bad game. But like I said, we're going from worst to best. So definitely Resident Evil 1 was a game that for some reason I couldn't beat at the, back in that time. I did beat it, on the GameCube, but I didn't beat it on the original PlayStation. Some people liked it, but me, it was okay. Okay, so my next game, this is another shocking one. It's gonna be Resident Evil 5. What can I say about this game? When this game got announced, I wasn't really excited for this game for some reason. I know a lot of people consider this one to be a really great Resident Evil game, but for me, it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, it's a good game, but for some reason there was just something about it. I don't know if it was the character Chris that I never really liked. I was more of a Leon Kennedy character from the previous Resident Evil games, but for me, it wasn't bad. It was definitely not a bad game, but I definitely didn't pick it up on when it came out. So yeah, the next two Resident Evil games, I'm gonna have to say that they're the best ones in the series. And the first one up is Resident Evil 4. I remember picking this up on the Nintendo GameCube back in 2005, and honestly, I couldn't wait for this game. This game is great. Graphics are great. Gameplay is great. Story is great. Everything is great about this game. Definitely, it's one of my favorite games in the series. Resident Evil 4, I will definitely recommend this either on the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, and yeah, it's a great game. I had a lot of fun. I could always come back to the game and play it. Definitely Resident Evil 4 is one of my top games. And for my next game is gonna have to be Resident Evil 2 on the original PlayStation. This game is actually great as well. I remember spending a lot of hours on this game, and just, you know, the game just felt so great, you know, so the story and everything was just amazing back in that time. And I heard that they're making a remake of this game. Can't wait for it. Being a big Resident Evil fan, this game was just great, you know, going into the city and, you know, exploring this, I guess it was a police department, and just the music, the atmosphere, everything was just great about this game. Definitely, I spent a lot of hours in this game, and I can't wait for the remake. So definitely this is my number, I would have to consider this my number one along with Resident Evil 4, because it was really tough to just come up with first and second, honestly, because I really love these two games and I could always play these games over and over and not get tired of it, you know. It's a great games. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know down below what is your favorite Resident Evil games in the series. I would like to know a list of games that you guys like, and yeah, so this is pretty much it. Thanks for watching. This is Power Glove Pixel signing out. Till next time.